This video is brought to you by MR Hi-Fi Reviews. We are driven to create high-quality, visually stimulating, and honest, informative reviews of personal audio, home audio, and technology, bringing you the latest and greatest news from the audio industry. Visit us at mrhifireviews.com. Crystal clear sound that will plug you into the SPL matrix. Hey friends, my name is Marcello. Today I'm going to be giving you my impressions on the Phonitor XE headphone amplifier sent over for me to review by Jeremy. Thank you again, buddy, for allowing me to check out your amp. No one has compensated me for this review, and all thoughts and impressions are my own. For this review, I'll be listening to the Phonitor XE paired with my own topping D90 digital analog converter, as well as A/B listening to the Phonitor XE versus the topping A90, which I currently own, as well as the iFi Pro iCan I have on loan from iFi. As with all my audio reviews, I will utilize all my headphones in my collection, or any headphones that I have in for review, to search for synergies with the Phonitor XE, as well as comparisons to my current solid-state reference amp. I'll cover 5 main topics: build quality, specifications, design, and quality of sound. Then I will give my overall conclusions and leave my affiliate links in the video description to the gear discussed. If you end up deciding you want to make a purchase, it greatly helps the channel if you use one of my affiliate links. So let's get right into it. Starting with the build, quality, specs, and design, the Phonitor XE is impressively built in Germany with a premium feel and look to it that cannot be denied. Available in red, black, or silver, a potential buyer has some options based on their preferred aesthetic. The headphone amplifier is very large compared to many other headphone amps, so take this into consideration if your space is limited. It is also fairly heavy, weighing in around 11 pounds. The volume control feels premium. At 45 millimeters, it's large and has a wonderful feel when turning it. In addition, the Phonitor XE's volume control is motorized and can be controlled via an infrared learning remote. It is easy to see the marker on the volume control even when listening in dark environments, which is a welcome feature in my opinion. On the front of the Phonitor, you have an output connection for standard 1/4 inch and an XLR 4-pin for balanced headphones. From the single-ended output, you have 2.7 watts at 600 ohms, 5 watts at 250 ohms, and 1 watt at 32 ohms. From the XLR output, you have 8 watts at 600 ohms, 3.5 watts at 250 ohms, and 0.7 watts at 32 ohms. So there is a significant amount of power available both from the front of the Phonitor XE as well as on the back, with the addition of 2 more outputs, 1 single-ended and 1 4-pin XLR, with the exact same power ratings. Probably one of my favorite design features of the Phonitor XE is the 2 mechanical view meters that allow you to visualize the input levels for the left and right audio channel. The view switch also allows you to optimize the display for different signal levels. This amp just asks you to listen to your favorite music in a dark room and be mesmerized by the view meters as you listen. The Phonitor allows you to hook up to 6 sources to it if you opt for the optional internal DAC, including an XLR, RCA, USB, coax, optical, and AES, or 2 sources without the internal DAC. If you opt for the internal DAC, you get an AKM AK4490 Velvet Sound premium DAC chip as a converter. I cannot give my impressions on that combo as the review unit does not have that included DAC option. However, I did test the Phonitor XE with my top D90, which has the AK4499 flagship DAC chip, which is what I will base my impressions on. The next feature of this amp I really dig is the Matrix Crossfeed and angle controls. With these controls, you have the ability to make your headphones sound more speaker-like. The majority of music is mixed for playback on speakers, so with some headphones, you may not fully get to appreciate the subtleties of the music as it was intended when listening on headphones. The matrix feature is one of the main benefits in my mind to the Phonitor XE. I will include some links in the video description that go into more depth about these features and their benefits. The power supply of the Phonitor XE is built into the back of the unit, so no power brick is needed with this unit. Using 120 volt Voltaire technology, which runs on 4 times the voltage of standard audio electronics, SPL states the amp will have higher dynamic range, lower THD and noise at negative 114.2 decibel, greater headroom, and crystal clear sound reproduction. So now that we talked about some of the design and build, let's get into the most important part in my opinion. How does it sound? As we all know, sound and the perception of sound is a very subjective thing. So anytime I give my impression on how a piece of audio equipment sounds, it's my subjective opinion. You may have a different opinion or a different audio chain than I do, so that can also play a pretty big factor into your conclusions about audio gear. With that said, I found the Phonitor XE when listening via the Rad-0 from Rosson Audio or the Verité Open from ZMF and the Aeolus from ZMF to have expansive staging with extreme accuracy and layering. I found the Phonitor to have zero coloration to the music whatsoever to my ears, presenting an extremely clean, crystal clear sound. My impressions were drawn when listening to my Qobuz and Amazon Music HD playlists, which I've included in the video description below, as well as listening to many other tracks and albums of music over the few weeks I had the amp in for review. So to wrap up, let's talk about comparisons to the topping A90 and the iFi Pro iCan. Then stick around and I will give you my overall conclusions and who I believe the Phonitor XE headphone amplifier is for. When A/B listening to the Phonitor XE versus the topping A90, I found the A90 to have a slightly warmer, more enjoyable sound to my ears. The SPL has a wider sounding stage with slightly more clarity and detail in the music. I found the A90 to have a bit more impact from drums and the lower frequencies. For some listeners, the Phonitor XE might be preferred with music that plays better with a larger soundstage and more precision, and the A90 with the intimacy of its staging plays better to my ears with heavily vocal-based music or music that benefits from a little touch more impact or warmth. Also, the price for the performance of the A90 versus the Phonitor XE is a pretty incredible value considering what you get from it as a solid-state reference headphone amp. The other amp I compared the Phonitor to is the iFi Pro iCan I have in for review from iFi. Stay tuned for a full review on that headphone amplifier coming soon on the channel. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any future reviews. The iFi is definitely the warmer sounding amp of the two to my ears, with a smoother overall delivery and virtually fatigue-free sound in my subjective opinion. The Phonitor again has the wider sounding staging with better layering of the music. The Phonitor to my ears presented greater detail, picking up more subtle sounds in the recordings, from hand plucks on strings to cheers in the crowd. However, when comparing between the two, the Phonitor sounds a bit sharper and has a less forgiving nature to it. What the recording presents and the quality of the rest of your audio chain is what you will hear when listening to the SPL Phonitor. The Phonitor XE presented vocals a bit further away from me than the iFi Pro iCan to my ears. In my opinion, the iFi has a more natural sounding presentation with significant more impact while still giving me just the right amount of detail to really enjoy the music. Again, in my subjective opinion, from a sound perspective, the Phonitor would be my go-to for mixing, video editing, reference headphone reviewing with its fully transparent, uncolored sound, where the iFi Pro iCan would be my choice for enjoyment, longer listening sessions, versatility, and the tube stages that it has. I found the iFi to be the more versatile amp of the two, while the Phonitor to be more of a specialist. So my overall conclusion, who is this amp for? In my opinion, this amp is for someone wanting ultimate transparency in sound with incredible build quality. The matrix, crossfeed, and angle implementation features on this amplifier do present a more speaker-like sound from headphones, so a person who is primarily listening to two-channel speakers and is now moving to higher-end headphone listening may really appreciate this feature. I also believe a person who likes a very pleasing visual aesthetic, especially with the view meters, may find this amp to look beautiful on their desk or hi-fi rack. This is also a headphone amp that would likely find a happy home in a mixing studio and for professional use. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe for many more upcoming videos and show your support by leaving a thumbs up and a comment. If you're interested in purchasing the Phonitor XE or any amps discussed in this video, I will leave my affiliate links in the video description below that help to support the channel so I can keep bringing you more of this content. Thanks again, friends. I appreciate you all. Until next time, much love.